Welcome to the Rimworld mod rundown. We'll be taking a quick look at what you can expect to see from Vanilla Furniture Expanded. For starters, you'll need to own the additional workshop content, Vanilla Expanded Framework, and Harmony. A pretty straightforward one for us to go over today with Vanilla Furniture Expanded, seeing as it's just received its major version 2 update. It's the right time to cover this and mention any new parts for those of you who have used this mod forever, as well as bringing it to the attention of anyone that hasn't yet included this in their mod list because it's buried way back in the Steam Workshop, due to it originally being released in April 2019, the before times, back when you could blow out candles on birthday cakes and open mouth sneeze in another person's face. Now, before we get into the meat of this mod, let's quickly cover a couple of things. Firstly, at time of recording anyway, the other modules for VE Furniture haven't yet been updated, but from the comments on the workshop page, it seems there are plans to revise some of them down the line. I'll be covering those if and when they see a version 2 treatment. Secondly, and this point's especially true if you play with an increased UI like I do, you're probably going to want to go one of two ways with modding your architect menu so that it doesn't hide your entire game when opened. Personally, I'm a fan of using scrollable gizmos, which keeps everything in the default group but limits the size of the menu and allows you to use the scroll wheel to look through it. Alternatively, and I'd go as far as to say more usefully if you're using a very large mod list, there's the clean category series of mods that Fernie released. It makes your menus a lot less overwhelming by adding helpful subcategories and splitting structures into more appropriate tags. What are we getting with this mod anyway? A few new buildings tucked away in the base game research, as well as 6 new projects that unlock the majority of this mod's content. All the parts with Furniture Expanded are here to facilitate a smoother transition across the tech tree in regards to decorating and furnishing your base. No more going from tribal to suddenly having basically all of the furniture you're ever going to use for the rest of the game from just a single project.
Pawn, prawn, go, duka. But that's checkmate.
Fortunately, this is a pretty quick rundown in terms of things to cover. The majority of furniture is just going to be a simple stat block and you're already going to know how to work with it, although there are a couple of inclusions with this mod that provide a nice extra bonus or two, so we're going to go project by project and check out all of the new bits. Included outside of any research projects are your new extremely basic options. This includes the single and double chiseled bed, although the spelling of chiseled that's been used here should be underlined in red because my notepad is not happy with it at all. These beds are extremely work intensive, not really all that comfortable, and have a subpar rest effectiveness and a negative effect on surgery success chance. However, they are fairly beautiful as standard, completely immune to fire, and tanky enough that they'll even withstand a bedroom tantrum. The 1x1 table is a lovely little option to make a breakfast nook or have individual colonist tables inside of their bedrooms. Just remember that by doing this you will be sacrificing the mood buff opportunity for having an impressive dining room. These tables are super cheap to build at just 15 materials and take next to no work to throw together. The sitting cushion is a more comfortable chair that you'll be able to build long before sofas or armchairs. This uses fabric or leather like a sleeping bag, it provides 0.7 comfort at a standard quality, and the only issue that I have with this part is that the artwork doesn't seem to match the quality of the other revised parts. The border isn't the usual Rimworld thickness and the shading is just off. I'm not quite sure how, but when it's side by side with anything else, its aesthetic doesn't fit. Then finally, without any research, you have the dark and normal fire pits. This works extremely similarly to a campfire, only the base of it is made from stone rather than wood and it has a higher capacity for fuel, holding 35 logs that last 3.5 days, making its efficiency exactly the same as a normal campfire too. The Darklight version does give you access to a very primitive cooking option for darkness ideologies, but outside of that, all of these buildings operate exactly the same. Same heat, same radius, same bills.
They're the same picture.
Before we hop into the research tab that contains the new projects, let's quickly go over the inclusions that come in with electricity and advanced light research. In electricity you have the desk lamp and you'll also see the lamp end table, with only one of these being buildable. The desk lamp can technically be built anywhere, but it's designed in such a way to look like it's sitting on top of a bedside table, cabinet or another surface. These lamps are a little bit cheaper than your normal standing lamps. They save 5 steel per build and only use 20 watts of power rather than 30, but they're not as powerful. They lose 2 tiles of reach when compared to a normal lamp. I want to say that the lamp end table is still included with this research to make sure that players who updated the mod don't get a bunch of red errors in their game if they were using it, as the table itself is still available for spawning via dev mode, but you can't build it anywhere in the architect menu. Who knows, it might be gone entirely in a few months when that fallback is no longer deemed necessary. Then in advanced lights you have the outdoor lamp. This was originally removed with the version 2 release, but due to popular demand it found itself re-included. It boasts a few upsides over using a vanilla floodlight, so I understand why people do prefer it. Firstly, it's a little bit cheaper, at 40 steel and 70 watts of power consumption, compared to a floodlight's 50 steel and 100 watts. By paying a little bit less, you are getting a reduced area of effect, but given how twisty and turny outdoor areas can often end up being, the vanilla floodlight was often overkill, making the modded light more flexible in its use. As well as that, it doesn't have a beauty debuff like the floodlight, and it turns itself off during the day when it simply isn't needed, allowing you to more effectively charge your batteries and then have these click on overnight. As you would expect for an outdoor lamp, it's totally immune to shorting out in the rain, and if somehow you don't know about the trick by now, you can avoid having bzzzt events in your colony by only building underground conduits. A single tile of normal conduit will allow them to happen though. Spending a little bit more on your conduits does help you out in the long run. That means it's time to go over the actual projects. We have 7 to go through. Some of these are your standard vanilla tech with a few new additions, others are entirely new inclusions. We're only going to cover the new parts of furniture included with these projects though, as to the best of my knowledge there are no rebalances applied by this mod to base game furniture. Basic tech is, well, it lives up to the name. With this you get a simple single and double bed as well as bench seating. Simple beds are worse than your standard bed in every aspect, but they're a tad cheaper. Less HP, cover effectiveness, comfort, surgery success, immunity gain speed, and rest effectiveness. But you save a little bit of metal, wood, or stone for each one. They look a little bit more aesthetically fitting for a prison as well, as they're a cot rather than a bed. Bench seating is a cool addition, as it's modular furniture. If you place a single piece of bench, it works exactly the same as a stool. It's made out of the same material, it has an equal cost, work, and a comfort value. But you're then able to place multiple benches alongside one another to make for a more cafeteria style of dining, or to provide a comfortable outdoor spot for colonists to rest their feet. It's up to you if you want to approach these with the intention of making a cozy vibe, or a more cold and clinical feel to a room. So the basic stuff is easy enough. What about the new parts with complex furniture, which has hopped over into the vanilla expanded tab of research if you're still using the default UI. Don't worry, when I'm not making these rundown videos I do actually use a modded research screen. This is a conscious choice to try and keep things clearer for you guys.
The things I do for love.
You've got 6 new parts with complex, and some of these do have new effects to go over. The wooden counter is another bit of modular furniture, allowing you to make a long narrow tables for something that resembles a breakfast bar or a high-seated pub setting. These naturally have quite high beauty and are extremely cheap to build, so they make for impressive dining rooms without even needing to try very hard. The wardrobe is another addition for your bedrooms that makes it easier to interestingly furnish a 5x5 interior and provide additional comfort to nearby beds. These have a construction skill requirement, unlike bedside tables or dressers, and they're also a little bit more expensive to build at 60 materials each, so this is likely going to be the last addition you add to a bedroom setup. They do provide a solid amount of beauty though, as well as another 0.05 comfort on every attached bed, which is the same effect you would get from the other bedroom furnishings. Now you've got the school chair. This is near identical to a dining chair. It has the same materials, work, construction skill requirement, and value. But the school chair sacrifices a little bit of comfort and beauty to instead increase the learning rate of any student when combined with a school desk. Each desk can make use of 2 school chairs via its interaction spots, and any more that are placed randomly around it do not work. Each one of these chairs is going to be providing 5% more learning rate. Remember that learning rate is a unique mechanic for children. This chair isn't going to boost the experience gained for adult colonists if they use it at, say, a tailoring bench. The weapon rack is super straightforward. It takes 25 metal to build and it works exactly like a shelf. You're going to be building this entirely for its aesthetic though. It's providing the same functionality at a higher price point with a less flexible storage pool as a normal shelf. It's nice if you want to set up an emergency weapon station near to your front line, or to keep things like rocket launchers or flamethrowers on hand for specific threats. That takes us over into the new recreation bits. The dartboard is a mid-range dexterity play option, without the need for using cloth or having a large footprint like a pool table, whilst providing more recreation power than your horseshoes pin. This does need a construction skill of at least 5 to build, and it also takes a fair amount of work. You can set this up to have people throwing darts over other furniture, like a poker table, but the colonists trying to play cards don't exactly appreciate it. Then finally with complex furniture is the punching bag, offering you a source of strength play. This is also going to train melee combat. Outside of other VE mods that include things like training dummies, this might be your only source of this recreation type, making it quite valuable to have at least one of these bags around the base. It needs a little bit of everything to build though. It takes wood, steel, and a choice of fabric or leather. The bag takes no damage when used, it isn't treated like a tantrum target, so you don't need to overthink the HP offset of using a weak leather or cloth to build this. Down from complex furniture we get artisan furniture. This unlocks you all of the parts to make a royal themed room. In base game it always seemed a little bit weird to be so demanding about a royal bed whilst all of the other furniture didn't really fit alongside it. Now you've got a full suite of options for the gold trim aesthetic. Starting with the poster bed, this is even more expensive and impressive than your standard royal bed, with a higher construction skill requirement and cost, taking 20 more metal, wood or stone and a further 25 gold when compared to a normal royal bed. For this you're getting an additional 25 beauty, 0.1 more comfort, extra surgery success chance, on the off chance you're installing bionics in a royal bedroom rather than a dedicated hospital, better immunity gain speed and more rest effectiveness too. As you would expect, this bed takes an absurd amount of work to complete. Then to go with it, you have the bedroom accompaniments. You've got a royal end table, dresser, and wardrobe. As you would expect, these all cost more base materials than their standard counterparts, and they have a gold requirement on top of that. With the upside being that all of these options offer a huge amount of beauty, even at normal quality, and the dresser and end table have twice the comfort buff of the standard edition. Oddly, the wardrobe doesn't double this buff though. So a full suite of royal extras is going to add 0.25 additional comfort to the bed, making it, at normal quality anyway, 1.25, so that colonist comfort bar is likely going to be maxed every single morning, even with the faster sleep rate. Now we have all of the royal table options. You've got a 1x1, a 1x2, a 2x2, a 2x4 and a 3x3. The construction skill requirements for these tables increase as they grow in size, starting at 6 on the smallest and ending at 9 for the 3x3. Just like the royal bedroom furniture, all of these tables cost more of the base material as well as having a gold requirement. For the extra investment, all of these tables come with a sizable beauty bonus, but that's about it. You aren't getting an 8 royal table buff for building these, unfortunately.
Wow, classy.
Good evening, sir. Would you please leave without a fuss right now?
Okay.
The royal chair is an upgrade to your dining chair option, but it doesn't exactly share a great deal in terms of its stats or cost. It takes fabric or leather and gold to build, needs 6 construction rather than 4, it has high comfort and better beauty, but aesthetically it's roughly around the shape of a dining chair. As this chair is taking its beauty bonus from the material that you choose to build it with, it's a great candidate for something like chinchilla fur, which is going to push that base beauty from 30 all the way to 110, while still looking nice and clean too. This is going to be the same story with the armchair, only this time it's a more direct comparison to the base version. 20 more fabric and 50 additional gold gets you 10 times the beauty and 0.15 more comfort, whilst demanding twice the work to build and needing 8 construction rather than 5. If you have pretty furs, again, like chinchilla, fox or guinea pig, it's well worth keeping them around for 1 or 2 of these. It allows a single armchair to provide equal beauty to things like a large sculpture, whilst still being a functional piece of furniture. The last part of this is the royal standing lamp. Again, it's the same thing. More steel and a little bit of additional gold is going to be providing a similar effect to the base version whilst offering more beauty. The only downside to the royal lamp is that it gives off one tile less light than your normal lamp, presumably because of the lamp shade. Although if you're only using these in things like a royal bedroom, normally they're still going to provide ample lighting for a room of that size anyway. So, on to something that offers a few more new bits. Modern furniture. We have 10 parts to cover here. Firstly is the ergonomic bed and the ergonomic double bed. This is a more affordable improvement to your standard furniture without needing to add gold into the mix. Ergonomic beds do take steel and components on top of your material of choice, but thankfully they don't require connecting to a power grid. They're adjustable and provide better back support, as shown with the increased comfort and surgery success chance, immunity gain speed, rest effectiveness, all the good things. These beds also don't go overboard with a design change from the regular version, so they still fit really well with most normal dressers, side tables and wardrobes. The modular couch is less of a couch and more of a footstool unit. That saves you 20 materials when constructing this, and it also makes it a little bit faster to throw together. Not only that, it's somehow slightly more comfortable than a standard armchair. Unlike most other modular furniture in this mod, this doesn't really snap together like the counters or benches do, but you can always make a pillow pit with them and practice wrestling moves like you did when you were 12. The ergonomic chair has its cost worked out similarly to the ergonomic bed, only it uses fabric, leather or metal on top of the steel and component cost. This is the most comfortable chair that you can build that still fits with the look of a workstation or a normal dining room. It is beaten on comfort by the royal armchair, but that looks somewhat out of place in front of a smithy. As with most of the ergonomic furniture, it's work heavy to build, so you might want to put these down one by one rather than deconstructing all of your seating in the workshop at the same time. The long plant pot is another modular building that joins together beautifully to make all kinds of weird and wonderful shapes that you can throw an assortment of flowers in, as each tile works like an individual planter rather than them sharing the same grow zone. It feels odd to have this part in a higher tech, as it were. It's no more expensive or complicated to build than a standard plant pot, it's just more flexible in its use. The coffee table finally gives you an attachment for chairs to increase the comfort that they offer. It costs just 35 metal, wood or stone, and it connects in all of the cardinal directions to any chair. It also provides 0.05 more comfort. Just like a dresser, this can connect to multiple other buildings, but only one can be connected to each. So stacking 4 coffee tables around a single armchair isn't going to make it somehow otherworldly in its comfort. It's absolutely perfect to have these between a couch and a TV though, a real cozy vibe. On to something less cozy, the filing cabinet. This finds its way into the miscellaneous tab and works as an add-on for your research benches, with each bench being able to connect up to 2 filing cabinets. A single filing cabinet provides 3% more research speed and costs 100 metal, but they do have a bit of range on their connection, so a filing cabinet can connect to multiple benches and provide the bonus 2, 3 or even 4 times over. You need to do a bit of juggling with what's going to be more cost effective or efficient in your colony, whether you should simply build another research bench and try and cram it in somewhere, or buff your existing ones by placing down some filing cabinets. Then you've got the recreation parts from modern furniture. Up first is the upright piano. This gives access to musical recreation, something you would normally need to craft a harp, harpsichord or a grand piano for. It needs a fair old chunk of metal, wood or stone for its base, and then it takes 3 components for its interior, with the act of playing the piano not only training the colonist's artistic skill, but also entertaining those around them, making it an extremely powerful addition to your rec room as it can fill multiple colonist needs at once, as long as the pianist actually has some artistic skill to begin with anyway. The roulette table is massive, with a bigger footprint than the pool table. It functions as a cerebral play source, like a poker or a chess table, with it having the highest recreation power of all of them. As you would expect, it's pretty damn expensive. It takes 120 metal, wood or stone, 100 cloth and a further 40 wood. If you've got the space to put one of these down in your rec room, it's really nice to have. And it also allows you to divide your rec room across a more relaxed social area and something with a bit of a casino vibe. Finally, you have the lounger. These can work as beds if you wanted to assign them to an individual colonist, as they could take a page out of the German's book and get down to the pool at 5 AM to put their towels out. As far as using these for beds though, they're really not great. Halved surgery success chance, bad immunity gain speed, and poor rest effectiveness. But as far as recreation goes, these provide a solitary source via sunbathing, with a fantastic comfort and solid rec power too. They're cheap enough to build at just 50 metal or wood, but you will need to place these outdoors and live in a climate that's appropriate for sunbathing to take place. It also means that if you have your work schedule set quite strictly to only relax in the evening, they're never going to see any use, as the sun needs to be out for them to function. On to, unironically, my favourite thing from VE Furniture: waste disposal tech. This gets you the small and large bin, with the small costing 40 metal or stone and providing a 21 tile AoE, whilst the large costs a little bit more at 60 but has a 31 tile reach instead. These work a little bit differently to how they used to, but not by much. The bins will passively clean the floor in their area of effect, with the new change being that they now fill over time with each bit of filth cleared, rather than just making it disappear. This will cut down cleaning time dramatically in a large colony by allowing colonists to simply empty the bins rather than manually sweeping the entire base. Not only that, the bins offer a cleanliness bonus, so if you want to get real min-maxy with this stuff, they help with things like biosculpting or research speed, as bizarre as that might seem to fill a sterile room with a bunch of wheelie bins.
The knee bone's connected to the something. The something's connected to the red thing. The red thing's connected to my wristwatch. Uh-oh.
Onto a bit of a diverging project then. Basic Electronics. This swallows the base game tube television research project and adds more features to it. You're going to get the arcade machine, which is a super easy addition to any rec room. It takes 200 watts of power to work and needs 50 metal, 20 steel and 5 components, so it's a little bit expensive to build. However, it provides 125% recreation power for cerebral play. These are something I insta-buy if I see a trader bring one in. The component cost makes it a little bit hard to justify building my own, but they're always great to buy and tuck into a corner. The old computer is something I would have previously hard passed on. That was the case before the recent update anyway. This takes 30 of any metal, wood or stone, then 75 steel and 4 components, with it also slurping down 180 watts of power. It grants a unique type of recreation that is computer usage. My own bar is always hard capped for that type. The new benefit is that these computers provide a source of learning for children, which makes them far more beneficial now. From what I've noticed in testing, it doesn't appear that the school chair makes any difference for this game, as it's specifically looking for the desk. But as it's only a 5% increase per chair, it might just be that it's so small I'm missing it. It's hard to confirm or deny definitively either way. Lastly, at this tech you've got industrial radio. And whilst some industrial music can be hot garbage, this plays the more popular examples to provide a trickle of recreation whilst colonists get on with other tasks. Each radio is going to cost 60 steel, 3 components and use 200 watts of power, with its recreation power only being 30%. It might seem a little bit expensive, but it is providing the recreation gain to everybody present in the 13 tile AoE, so these are fantastic in workshops, labs or hospitals, keeping colonists happier for longer and removing the need for a frequent trip to a more dedicated recreation source. I'm sure they're really happy to hear Dragula for the 17th time that day. Then the final project is Complex Electronics. It's going to take the place of flat screen television research and include it as a buildable. Firstly, this gets you the floor lamp, which is useful if you're not already using rebuild doors and corners. For a point of comparison, both of these floor lights take 20 materials to build and consume 20 watts of power. But the VE Furniture version adds just a little bit more reach with the light that it provides, although it is still less potent than a desk lamp. So if you want to make use of floor lighting, you need to have quite a few of these around the base to adequately illuminate it. It's a really cool aesthetic for corridors or high-tech rooms though. As an upgrade to your industrial radio, you get the long wave radio. This has a much greater reach with a whopping 25 tiles from point to point, so it's easily going to cover the efficiency standard 13 by 13 box that everyone builds. It takes quite a few more resources to make though, needing 80 steel, 20 plasteel, 5 components and even 1 advanced component. However, this is providing twice the recreation power of the industrial radio over a greater area, so it's hard to complain about it. It does use a little bit more power though at 300 watts, but again, one of these can easily cover the area that a couple of industrial radios would have been used for previously. And finally, in all of this, you can build the modern computer, the best source of computer usage recreation. It needs 60 metal, wood or stone for the desk, then 100 steel, 4 components and 2 advanced components to build the PC itself. It gives 140% recreation power for just 250 watts of actual power, and it still provides the opportunity for children to use this to boost their learning rate as well, by watching a video split between Subway Surfers, a topic explained by AI over a Minecraft parkour video, ASMR of soap being cut with a knife, and a pointless React creator sat in the corner agreeing with the video every 5 seconds or so.
A few.
That
Man.
mother's running.
What? Wow.
Look at him
that's
go.
That's crazy,
You
isn't
mean
it?
the kid below
Oh my
us?
god, true, yeah.
Oh hell no,
True
Jig
and
got caught
fucking
by the
real.
ops.
And there we have it, Vanilla Furniture Expanded. Obviously there are still a lot of other modules available if you wanted to go even further with this and expand upon it, but I'm not 100% sure on what will or won't be seeing an update anytime soon. All that I've seen mentioned so far is a full remake and rebalance of security, as well as expanding upon Spacer. So we've yet to see if power, architect, production, medical, farming, art or props is going to get the same treatment. Still, good things come to those who wait, so I'm going to keep an eye out and make sure to cover the version 2 release of any of these mods when they happen to land. If you'd like to see the current suggestion list for mod rundowns, it's available to view on my Patreon page. All of the posts there are totally free to read and it's pinned at the very top. You can support me in producing content like this for just £1 a month. It gets your name in the credits of these videos and it does help me to stay alive. Thanks for watching folks. If you have any other mods you would like to see a full breakdown for, or suggestions of mods you would like to see covered, feel free to leave them in the comments, I might get around to them. I'll be back again soon with another Rimworld mod rundown. Wherever you are in the world, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon or evening. Take care.